Are you going to go to where in a moment?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I won't bother you.
Future and also further country reputationally on the world stage. Now you have confirmation. Last night we heard in front of the court this morning, so 3 judges as opposed to a single judge. We understand. Thank you.
We're ready to go. So.
May I just have a quick word?
Yes.
Bill Thompson is my name. I'm a Foxtel subscriber and a follower of Sky News.
Sorry, do you mind if we chat in 15 minutes?
Okay.
I just have to do another.
Okay.
Yes, and are we reversing or am I doing it live?
G'day, mate. Can I have a word?
Sure.
Bill Thompson.
I'm always listening to you, Bill.
You're always listening to me?
Yeah, I've never spoken to you.
Okay.
Always watching you.
Okay, good on you, mate. Look, I'm intrigued at what's going on at present. Can I ask what your purpose of being here is?
Well, I'm here to support NOVAX
Okay.
in court.
Sure.
I've had my own proceedings in this court. It's always nice to have friends
Okay.
support you.
In the family court or?
Well, in this building, we'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I'm here to what I see as tyrannical governing.
Right.
I'm here to witness that.
Yes.
I'm watching a very brave person say no.
Okay.
And yeah, I find it prophetic. I purchased this
Challenge Court.
Challenge Court Agassi t-shirt this morning in Camberwell Market
Okay.
at the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it's a message from above.
Mate, I've been observing this, as many Australians have, for several weeks now. There are a number of aspects to it, one of which is, from my perspective, there is limited acceptance of the fact that people who have had COVID have developed antibodies naturally to the virus, and some experts suggest that naturally acquired immunity is as good, if not better, than vaccines, and other experts say the opposite. I would like more open media discussion on that particular subject. Now, I watch border control programs on TV frequently, and I tear what's left of my hair out every time I see somebody with several bags full of prohibited vegetables and fruits and things who have put X's in all of the nothing to declare, and they get fined $400 and are let, the fruit is confiscated, but they're let go on their way. So, one question is, would it have been appropriate to have said to NOVAX, okay, we're going to fine you for making an incorrect declaration, but you're allowed to come in. Now, there can be an argument on that. Have you got a view on that score?
Well, you mentioned a couple of things, Bill, and the first thing I'd say is there's a study that's come out in the last couple of days in the UK that's talking about the efficacy or lack thereof of the vaccines.
Yes.
In that it's a pandemic of the vaccinated in terms of Omicron.
Right.
And that to continually boost people is damaging to their immune system. So, I mean, good luck if you've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
But to the other point, the reality is it's a very simple matter of law here. The visa was issued by the Australian government.
Yes.
The gentleman was invited here
Yes.
by
Tennis Australia.
Tennis Australia, let's say. I mean, the circus is that, once again, as they say, Daniel Andrews has got off scot-free. And what the Conservatives don't seem to understand is their controlled opposition, and that they're always being set up.
Yes.
And it's just a simple matter of law here as to whether or not Mr. Djokovic
Well, the three people inside here today hopefully will make a decision based on the circumstances and the law. We'll see.
We will see, and you know, to my way of thinking, and I believe I'm fair and reasonable minded.
Yeah.
It speaks of some sort of tyrannical or dictatorial government policy. I don't know that it's law, it remains to be seen. I think that we're witnessing the exclusion of someone based on the potential for them to apparently
cause harm,
anti-vaccine sentiment. But they've mangled the language. I mean, the media here are always banging on about anti-vax sentiment, but I think it's anti-mandate.
True.
Yeah, so...
Well, for some people, look, you know...
certainly there are anti-vaxxers, no doubt.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's...
Just by way of... I'll announce my preferred pronouns are he and him, but I was double vaccinated and I've now had my booster, and I look with intrigue at the fact that the incidence of COVID has exploded. The overall vaccination rate in Australia is like 90% or something. So presumably lots of people who have been vaccinated are testing positive to COVID. Now the argument is, well, they're not going to get sick, and even if they do get sick, it's not going to be severe, and even if it's severe, they're not going to die. And I accept that general notion, but I agree with your reference to mandating things and driving people out of employment because of their vaccination status, and refusing entry to people who have tested negative and tested negative and tested negative because they haven't had the vaccination.
Now, Bill, sorry to interrupt, but there was footage released last night of last year Alex Hawke saying some very gracious and kind words about Mr. Djokovic last year when he was here, about what an upstanding person he is. I don't know if you're aware that he donated $25,000 to the Victorian bushfire appeal on the back of Maria Sharapova, encouraging other players that year.
I don't recall that. Yeah.
And so this is it. To my way of thinking, I mean, people probably can't read it this way, but this is another takedown of a very strong male. In the perhaps misandrist political atmosphere that we're living in.
Yes.
I noticed that all the mainstream media reporters are women.
Yes.
They're very attractive women that people are looking at home.
Absolutely.
And so I don't call it news anymore. I don't even call it fake news. That was fine while Trump was in his first of 3 presidencies, but 3 terms. But yeah, I call it propaganda now. So what we're actually watching, people think it's a visa issue, people think it's a vaccination issue, but this is a government that's trying to socially engineer people into their way of thinking by mangling the language and taking down a very healthy, strong male, the archetypal male.
Look, I accept your opinion on it, and as a almost lifelong Conservative voter, I have some concerns that that is a view that some people and possibly many people in Australia hold. I hope it's not so, but maybe it is.
It is. Bill, where are the men? Where are the tradies every day?
Out on the job. Out on the job.
Where are the men, Bill?
Yeah.
Where are the men? We're losing all the good men.
Mate,
and we need the men.
Yeah, you mentioned Trump, and I have recently tweeted the fact that the COVID death toll in the US under Trump was approximately 400,000, depending on whose figures you choose. The US COVID death toll under President Biden is about 470,000. And Trump didn't have the vaccine working at the time, but Biden has had the vaccine working the whole time. But you know who was in charge of the US federal government COVID policy under over the 870,000 deaths was Tony Fauci. So if anybody, in my opinion, deserves some blame and in fact immediate firing from his role, it's Tony Fauci. On top of all the other intrigue about whether he was involved in directing US funds, taxpayer funds, to the Wuhan laboratory for gain of function research. That remains to be proven. But do you have a comment on...
Well, you're speaking to someone who... I understand this. I understand this. So, yeah, I understand. I understand Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. Peter McCullough's
right.
opinions.
Yeah.
There's a whole range of alternative theories and science as to what is going on. And, yeah, it's an interesting time in history. It's very, very frightening at once.
Indeed.
Although, you know, there's never been a better time to be alive.
In many respects, there's no doubt about that.
And I think a lot of people are afraid of dying, Bill. A lot of, like, that's that atheist Marxist thing. They've eased the God out of it, and so everyone's terrified of dying. And I love that what someone said the other day, that the left's MAGA hat is the mask. So you can,
right.
The mask is the MAGA hat of the Democrats. So. And health is the vector that they come in on. If you know about Saul Alinsky.
Yes.
So Gillard, Andrews, the left, Shorten, all these people that we're chasing for their naughtiness. And you do great work there, I've seen it. But while we're chasing them, they have us busy with this other stuff.
Yeah.
So this is why NOVAX, it took a Serbian to come here, an Orthodox Christian to come here.
Right.
And we'll see what happens, because we'll see who's in charge. All I know is I bought this Court Challenge t-shirt at the crack of dawn this morning, and I wasn't going shopping for that.
It just
so
happened.
There's a power greater than me, power greater than all of us, and we'll see what he has in store for us.
Mate, you mentioned Julia Gillard. I think Slater and Gordon's offices are just down the street here. I used to marvel at the lack of media interest. Now, I despise ambulance chasing shyster lawyers, and so I've always despised Slater and Gordon. And it intrigues me that not even the shysters at Slater and Gordon could trust Julia Gillard.
Well, well, yourself and Michael Smith, you know, this is very well documented. And look, if nothing more comes out of what we know, we've come to realise that, you know, Victoria is corrupt to the core, and that these the trade unions are working in league with the lawyers who are working with the politicians. I was astounded to discover just yesterday that Martin Foley, the health minister, is a former tram driver.
Okay.
So that means we have a tram driver in charge of Victoria's health. Now, let me just preface this by saying my brother's a tram driver. I love tram drivers.
Right, okay,
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
But I just want to say it again, a former tram driver is running the health system.
Did he do anything in business or in the legal profession or anything else in the interim that before he went into politics?
I had no idea until that's all I need to know.
Okay.
These people are very unqualified people, and they've got their hands on the cash register, and they're ideologues, Bill.
That's true.
And they'll stop at nothing.
I agree totally. Now, mate,
Bill,
are you prepared to give me your name?
Oh, I'll just say my name's David.
David, okay, mate. Now, whether I've recorded anything remains to be seen. I have to wait till I get home and see. Are you happy?
I'm anonymous and don't speak to anyone, but I recognise you and know who you are.
Okay. Are you happy if the recording turns out for me to post all of it or some of it on my YouTube channel?
Sure.
Okay.
I think.
Mate,
that's very nice of you to ask.
much appreciated. Good luck.
Nice to meet you.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah, in person.
Okay.
I've watched you for years.
Mate, I used to go to the Magistrates Court and the Federal Court and the Supreme Court regularly to sit in on proceedings. And of course I haven't been able to go for a couple of years. I rang up the Magistrates Court last week and asked if they were open for the public, and she said we were supposed to be this week, but it won't be till the end of January now, and we'll see whether that happens. But I used to be fascinated by what goes on in the courts, not least of which is that the police officers who show up for cases are sitting there for hours on end, and the case gets called and then it gets adjourned to a later date. So they've wasted hours sitting in the bloody court waiting. There's just a phenomenal amount of churn. Mate, absolute pleasure.
Bill, I want to say your manner is very kind and courteous, and
I've been married for 50 years. You've got to be kind and courteous, mate.
Yes, that's why 50 years, not 5.
See you, mate.
See you, Bill.
Bye. Bill Thompson outside the Federal Court. Good morning, Bill Thompson for Court Watch in Melbourne. I've come down this morning to the Federal Court in William Street to see what might be happening outside, and there's a few media here. Somebody from Channel 9, somebody from BBC, somebody from Sky News, and some others that I haven't been able to identify. A few people have come down to express support for Novak Djokovic, and the proceedings should be getting underway pretty much right now. I am intrigued at the circumstances where some matters can be heard in very short order, whilst generally speaking our court system has been one delay after another over the last 2 years. I've had occasion to try to contact VCAT about a couple of matters, and I gather very little is happening on the VCAT calendar. No doubt this is a high profile case, but to be able to get 3 federal court judges on site with only a day or two's notice is kind of dramatic. Anyhow, we'll see what the day holds. Bill Thompson for Court Watch in Melbourne.